Greetings! Welcome to the Devlog for Alpha 6 of Update 100 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we've got a bit of a monster alpha this week. You could call this one the quality of life alpha. It's a whole bunch of stuff that has been rattling around in my brain for quite a long time, wanting to prioritize, and I finally, the brain juices were all firing on all meaty juicy cylinders this week. But we're going to start off by taking a look at the toy for this week, and then we'll get into all of those new features that I was talking about. We've got yet another gorgeous piece from the artist Sergey. We have the APS machine pistol. Oh, just look at that. What a gorgeous piece. Larger than I expected it to be. It's got 20 round double stack mags here. We can fire it on semi-auto as well as full auto. Actually has a surprisingly controllable fire rate for a machine pistol. Arguably, this is probably the only machine pistol that has ever been produced that, especially when paired with its stock, really does live up to the, it handles as a, pistol carbine / SMG's role. We've got a bunch of pieces to go with it. We've got a sweet looking suppressor, which we can put off there. I don't know about you, but I love suppressors that are offset on at least one axis. Just looks super sweet. Oh, that's fun. That is fun. And we have 3 different stocks to choose from. We've got a wooden one, a Bakelite one, and a wire one. I'm going to put on this one. I think that looks sweet. So we can pull this up, we can shoulder it, and it becomes surprisingly controllable in this form. Let's actually throw our target out back to a slightly more realistic engagement range there and see how well we can hold it in the center. Whew. Not too bad. Would get the job done. We need to adjust maybe and aim just a little bit lower. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Better. Oh, what a beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful piece. You can see it with the other, I gotta say, the wood stock also looks mighty handsome on it. Great looking piece. All right, let us move on now to our other new features. Let's push you all over this side. Beautiful. So, one of the things that got a huge amount of attention this week is ammunition handling, the way that ammunition comes out of our quick belt slots, and a bunch of animation stuff. So I think to make this as legible as possible, we are going to pull out some shotguns so that we can actually really see this in effect. I'm going to spawn lock you down there, put there. You already got a little bit of a preview there if you were looking carefully. Let's grab one of these, and then let's also grab just the magazine. Beautiful. So, the first thing is that you will notice that ammunition chambers, let's see here, put one there, cool. So ammunition now chambers more smoothly. It no longer just goes whoop and warps in, so we can... Let's actually reset our target here. So we can now put ammo in. You'll notice now, because this is... actually, I'll just do this one at a time first. You'll notice that instead of warping, and I'll get real close to it so you can see it better, smoothly goes in. We've got some new features for break actions. If you have 2 or more rounds in your hand at once with a break action, instead of having to go chink chink like that, you can actually just insert one into a chamber and it will load both. Yes, this does in fact work with the unlockable 4-barrel shotgun, making it quite powerful. Good stuff. So, in addition to that, you will notice that ammo, whoops, as I'm knocking stuff all over the place. There we go. You'll notice that ammo comes out of mags more smoothly. And if we pick up a bunch of it, like so, you'll notice that it now loads into magazines more smoothly, as well as moves about the hand more smoothly. So we got that. We have the fact that into tube-fed mags, we've actually got a number of cool features. You'll notice that let's see, let's go ahead and load the chamber. You'll notice that it not only loads more smoothly, but actually I'll show this with 2. If you just pick up 2 rounds while holding an inline, a tube-fed shotgun, you'll actually see them held back to back, and that's because they load extra fast, like that. You'll also notice at the end there, I only grabbed 1 round out of 2 rounds being spawn locked, and that's because the gun only needed 1. This update also integrates what is called smart palming. So let's say I fire, let's put this down, and cool. So this is now a spawn locked stack of 6 rounds. If I fire this 3 times, go to grab from this now with smart palming enabled, it only pulls 3 rounds out. Huge thanks to the various authors and contributors that made the smart palming mod possible. They sort of guided me through how their implementation worked, and we put together a more fully integrated and more performant version of it for the game proper. Wonderful. So much fun. So much fun. You can really see, the new tweening working with large rounds. Like if we pick up MGL here. And so once again, I've got a stack of, you know what? I am not actually, there is a bug in this. It should not be doing that because these ammos don't match. So I should definitely fix that. But yeah, so I can take 4. See those animate into there, and now when I grab this, it'll only grab 2. Bam. Wonderful. Man, I've got to clean up. There we go. Whew, so much stuff around here. So yeah, so that is all of the ammo stuff. I lied! That is not all the ammo stuff. I had to go back and look at my changelog. Something that has been asked for a long time with weapons that either feed from stripper clips or with our Guaranteedr that feeds from an end block is the ability to actually top up these weapons. It's been possible if you sort of hold the bolt back, but because of the fact that you can't just sort of hold the gun by its bolt, this hasn't been very feasible. So now, with the Guaranteedr, we can say pop an end block in here. We can fire the first couple shots. And now you can grab the bolt, pull it to the rear, and then click either down on the touchpad or joystick if you're in standard controls, or AX if you're in streamlined, and it will release the bolt and lock it, allowing you to then insert some rounds to top yourself off. Super handy if you are using one of these weapons in take and hold and don't want to have to do the thing where you just fire the 3 or 4 rounds into the ground to be able to have a fresh load. It allows you to keep both a spawn locked end block and some loose rounds to be able to top that up in combat. This is also possible in weapons that I know would either be infeasible or not even fully possible in real life, but I wanted to apply it consistently to basically everything that fed from a stripper clip. So we can take something like the SKS here. We can load it up. We can fire a few rounds, like so. We can pull the bolt back, lock it, top up with loose rounds, back to go. Wonderful. Wonderful. I hope you all enjoy that. And then the last thing for me to show you folks at the moment is what I've been working on the item spawner, which is actually going to lead into what we're going to talk about once we jump out of VR, which relates to what exactly is going to be in Update 100 and what's going on in the future, because I am changing the scope of a couple things. So let us go on over to our work in progress spawner. Oh, what's this shininess? Ooh. Rotating 3D logo. Yup, that's right. So this is going to be the new sort of splash page for the item spawner. I've been thinking about this for a while, about like how there are sort of common user sort of onboarding hiccups and early questions that I've been trying to figure out what the best way to put in front of the user that I can actually ensure they will see. And it sort of occurred to me as I was working on this and building a splash page for the spawner that putting it in between them and spawning guns was probably the best way to do this. And so the way that this actually works, and this is importantly, I'll talk about in a sec, this is still not perfectly working. But for our splash page here, we actually have videos that can play, including with audio narration. So I can click on this. You can spawn lock ammo, magazines, speed loaders, and clips to duplicate them. To do this, place the object in one of your... Yep, you all know how to do that. To open the options, turn your controller around on an empty hand. The wrist menu should... What a handsome voice that is. At the options panel button with your other controller and click. This will spawn the options panel into your hand. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do with this system in terms of getting it working is to be able to actually define what are going to be called tutorial blocks, which will be a video clip or an image, associated text, and sometimes additional narration. And what's cool about these sort of tutorial blocks is that these will be able to be associated with various objects in the game. So when you end up pulling up, say, a closed bolt rifle under firearms, in its detail page, there's going to be a list of sort of associated tutorial blocks you can click on that's like, here's how to load a gun that's like this, or here's how to, change the fire selector. These instructions actually automatically react to whether you're in classic or streamlined mode. So I'm hoping that this is... I'll get into why now with this in a moment, but this is how this works. And of course, we've actually got some easy links right there. So if I click that button, that was actually the H3 wiki link copied directly to my clipboard, so I can just paste that in. We finally have an in-game link to where to report bug reports, as well as the Discord. So, and this is obviously, these all are existing on the sort of splash page, but what's going to happen is there's going to be a help button here up in the upper right that's going to take you to the sort of unified knowledge base that slowly gets filled out with various sorts of diagrams, videos, etc. As this spawner grows and as work gets done on it. Anywho, let's jump out of VR, and I will talk about everything else that is in this update. Yes, there's still a whole bunch more stuff. Yo! So, now that we're out of VR, what else do we have here? As I look at my changelog, I knew I was going to forget to show at least one major thing while I was filming, and I did. There's a new model for the RPG7. One of the things that I was doing this week is I was going in and making all of the ladder sights on weapons that sort of had vertical ladder sights or flip-up ones actually work. And in the process of looking at my old RPG7 model, just the way that it was modeled, it didn't actually have the requisite detail to do that, so I took the opportunity to just full-blown swap the model. And so the RPG7 now has functional sights. It's actually one of 2 changes to it. The other big change to the RPG7 is, and I guess it was implemented so long ago, I never went back to it or thought about it, but I had basically used the sort of the RPG7 was functioning more like a gun in H3, in that it was firing out via its correct initial velocity, but wasn't actually getting the rocket boost that the real one gets, where it accelerates to about 300 meters per second after it has launched the tube. It now does that, which means the RPG7 fires a lot faster now. So it is actually between that and the fact that you can aim it now with the ladder sight with distances between 1 and 500 meters actually makes it a useful long-range weapon in scenes like Northeast Dakota. So definitely give it a shot. So yeah, so that is in there. Let's see, what else? I adjusted the reticles on the LPVOs to for clarity. You might have heard it, but I didn't call it out in the recording. When you are loading a magazine now, when you load the final round into that magazine that fills it to capacity, you will notice that the sound of that loading is slightly different. I've pitched it down to help give you an audio cue that, like, yes, the magazine you're loading is now full. So that is in there. The RPG7's chambering behavior is now a little different. Now that it actually lerps in, the chamber scoops the rocket up a little faster. So it will be cleaner for you to load it, but you'll still see the rocket slide back into place because of the new behavior. The Stenmark 6 now actually has a front blade sight, so you can actually, what's that called? Aim it. Let's see here. I talked about the closed bolt receiver weapons getting that extra control when you're grabbing the bolt. I can't remember actually if it's the BY or the AX button. I'll have to check. That might need a little fixing. Functional ladder sights, as I mentioned, have been added now to the Bren LMG, the 1918 bar, all M60 variants, the China Lake, the RPG7, the M79, and the Lee Enfield and the Jungle Carbine. I tuned the M1894 lever actions sight picture to be, usable, and at a sane zeroing distance, and I made the Ubernade explosion not deafening. Let's see here. What else? Whew, so that's just changes. On to fixes. This took a while. All of the melee weapons have had their quick belt pose reauthored. So instead of them, when you put them up in your shoulder slot and they're just sticking right forward, like, oh wow, I got a sword on my shoulder, it's pointing that way, they are now basically pointed down and back, regardless of what slot they're in. So way more convenient, and not blocking your views. I fixed the quick belt pose slots on a couple other random things. The hairspray can now spawns with the potato gun, so if you get that in Ricky Dicky Random in Take and Hold now, you can actually use it. I expect to see some videos of people wrecking Take and Hold with it now. The Vitiaz is sight barrel can now actually be grabbed, so you can zero it. Fixed just a whole bunch of other, you can look at the whole changelog. There's a bunch of little animation fixes, fixed iron sights, and the like that also went into this. So that's what's in the update. Now, what is going on with update 100 and what it constitutes? So this has been so many changes, especially from a quality life standpoint, that I feel it is about time to get this over to mainline. And so this is going to be the release candidate for Update 100. Update 100, when it goes to mainline, will not have the beta item spawner that is not done yet activated. That will only be available in the alpha branch, and that's for 2 reasons. One of which is that I want to spend a little more time making sure that certain things related to metadata are structured the way I want them to in regards to our mod community. It sort of came up sort of by surprise because it had just been so long when I was beginning to work on video and thinking about how video could be used in a tutorial context. In the item spawner, a whole bunch of people were like, what about the custom picture diagrams that apparently a bunch of the modders have been using? And I was like, oh yeah, those exist. Crap. So, so I've been working on a sort of tutorial block format that encompasses both the way that I want to show things off and teach things, but also accommodates older content. Yeah, and just makes that work cleanly, which is going to take some more design work. And especially now that the item spawner, as I'm envisioning it, is going to be effectively, finally, the game's real tutorial as such, it's going to need some more time, and I don't want to rush it. So I would like to just get update 100 out with all of these quality of life fixes, with a couple more really great toys. Next week, get onto mainline, and then just continue working on various things, both in terms of stuff for the holidays, and just this stuff. Because I'm going to be asked, there's going to be 5 comments about it. Doors. What's going on with doors? I've mentioned this on the Discord. I have a tech artist who I've been working with who is in the process of authoring a system that is secret, that's super sweet, that is related to blowing stuff up, that the doors need. And until that system is done, I can't move forward with the work that I'm doing on them, because they interlink and they sort of rely on each other's sort of structures. So just so you know, door stuff has been going on. I've got like a preposterous amount of visual content for it. I've got a ton of sound work for it. It's just the technical side of it that I'm getting ready to do, because the prototype that I showed off was very fun. It was very cool, but that's not how those will actually end up having to work in game, you know, fully scaled with door variants and tools that are interfacing with them. And so there's still technical groundwork that is being laid. I promise it will all make sense as to why it has taken so long for this all to happen. But it's just part of the challenges of making destruction systems in VR that still have to run smoothly at these resolutions and frame rates, and have these sort of cool features work without the game just, shuddering and or dropping tons of frames. So yeah, so that is still in progress. And yeah, so and then the last thing with the item spawner, when you go to play with those videos, I would really like to know, you can just like, I don't know, let me know in the Discord or something like that. Right now I'm aware of the fact that when you click on one of those new entries and it either starts a new video or stops the current video playing, there's like the whole application freezes. And this is because the Unity video player internally is a piece of crap. I would really like to know how long that pause is, because I don't know yet whether it's actually dependent on how fast someone's computer is, or whether it's more invariant than that, or if it depends on the video. So I'm going to be gathering some info for you folks, and if necessary, employing someone to put together a custom video decoder for me just for this purpose, so it's actually smooth in VR. Yay. These are the things I get to experience by working on an old version of an engine. So some breaks. Oh, so I think that's just about it for this week. I hope you enjoy the new toys. Let me know what you think of all of the new, the smart loading, the ammo tweening and such. I still probably need to add a couple options for it just to fill things out. But I'm pretty happy with it. And if you run into any showstopper bugs, remember, please go to the Steam forum and post a bug report. Do not post a YouTube comment about it or just jump into the Discord and tell me, but put it actually in the bug report section so I can keep track of it. I'd much appreciate it. All right. Well, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.